So my mom was having me and I was almost due. It was the day I was born. My parents were not freaking out since I wasn't the firstborn. They have had experience with my brother's birth. So my mom reached the hospital and she was told to take a seat in a wheelchair and a nurse would wheel her to her room. Whilst in the lift, this other pregnant mother came and stood beside her. My mom recalled her to be dressed in a red and white striped blouse and a bob haircut. It was the 80s/90s. She initiated small talk along with the lines of, "Is this your first child?" My mom answered, "No." "Oh, it is for me. Good luck." And my mom, being shy and awkward and in pain, just smiled, nodded her head. Since she didn't want to speak, she reached her floor and was wheeled out. So my mom went into the delivery room and went under general anesthesia. I was born, and she was resting in her room post-operation, still under the anesthesia. She was starting to awake, but still feeling a bit groggy. She saw someone come in, a lady, who looked like the one she met in the lift. Red, white, striped blouse, bob hair, but she was crying badly, and she said things like, "Oh, you're so lucky, your baby boy is so cute, so strong, so healthy. My baby wasn't so lucky, he didn't make it." My mom couldn't respond as she was still drifting in and out of anesthesia, and couldn't really move her limbs. Eventually, she drifted back to sleep. But when she finally awoke, and the nurse came in after asking about me and all, she then asked the nurse about the other lady who came in to see her, and if she was okay. The nurse said back, "Other lady? No one has come to see you yet except your husband." And my mom replied, "No, someone came in while I was under anesthesia and started crying about how she lost her baby. I think I met the lady in the lift on my way up here." The nurse's face went all serious but still comforting and asked, "Madam, what did the person look like?" My mom replied, "Red, white, striped blouse, and a bob haircut." The nurse responded with questions like, "Madam, may I ask what your religion is?" And my mom replied, "Catholic." The nurse then said, "If you have brought your rosary, you might want to take it out and say a little prayer. I don't want to alarm you or anything, but you are not the first person to have seen her. Just pray and everything will be alright." Only then my mother realized that while this was going on, the lady was a ghost that haunted the hospital, and apparently, from what some stories say, is that after she lost her child in the delivery room, she then committed suicide. My brother told me a scary story that happened when I was a baby. At first I didn't believe him, but then I got the confirmation from my dad about this, so here it goes. Okay, so my house is in a regular suburban neighborhood, and not scary at all. It has 2 stories with all the bedrooms at the second story. Well, anyways, I was about 2 or 1 years old at the time, and I finally got my own room. My bedroom has a pretty low ceiling, but it's pretty wide. It pretty much had a tiny TV with a VCR player and about 8 VCR tapes, and a huge-ass slide-in closet. My bed was right across from it, and because I was so creeped out about it, sometimes I would set my army men around the closet, pointed to the opening. My brother was about 12 years old when this happened. Everybody was asleep at 11 p.m. except my brother. He had this little lamp beside his bed so he could see while playing Pokemon Red on his Game Boy Color. He was about to beat the last gym leader when he heard a window open downstairs. That's when he heard footsteps coming up the stairs. He heard a door open and close, and then he heard sliding, then a quiet slam. Him thinking it was his mom or dad, he quickly went back and defeated the gym leader with his Blastoise. He went into my room and saw nothing, and as he quietly closed my door, he saw muddy footsteps heading up the stairs and into my room. He checked my room again, and there were footsteps leading into my closet. He quickly woke up my dad, and he went into my room half asleep, opened my closet, and was shocked at what he saw. A very pale and skinny man with muddy boots and a butter knife that had a mixture of fur and blood on it. My brother woke up my mom and she called 911 while my dad held him down on the floor. Cops said it turns out that we left a window slightly open and he snuck in. The part that got me the most freaked out, though, was that the cops also said that there was a huge burlap sack filled with dozens of gutted rabbits, cats, and hamsters. It's been around 4 years since this happened, as I was in middle school at the time, but only very recently I have understood what has happened. As a middle schooler, I used to play tennis a lot. At my school, you were given the option to play tennis instead of normal PE, usually just running, which I hated. I was part of this tennis program since I was in elementary school, so I knew the coaches very well. Around my 7th grade year, they hired a new coach. He was a nice older man named Ron. He was the coach of the section I would play, so for the entire year we would have lessons every day. Now, I wasn't alone in these lessons. As usual, I had 3 or 4 other kids with us. Ron was very nice. He would let us do fun tennis mini games, where he would incorporate Disney shows or cartoons into the mix. He seemed to know a lot about kids shows, but never had any children. He would also ask us if we saw the latest episode of Shake It Up, and he was serious. He would actually watch those shows and ask us about it. I thought it was kind of funny at the time, but looking back on it now, it was just weird. So, flash forward a year, and summer is over, and I'm back in school. It's the first day of classes for my 8th grade year, and I go to tennis, and immediately I'm greeted by Ron, and he asks me about my summer. Nobody was around yet, and I was sort of uncomfortable being alone. He says to me, "You've grown quite tall this summer. You're getting big. I wonder what else of yours has grown and is big now." He had been eyeing me down while he said that, but at the end of the sentence he focused his eyes on my crotch area. He kept staring at my crotch for a good 30 seconds, and silent until the main coach comes over and pats him on the back and tells him to start the lesson. That day nobody else was there for my section, so I was alone with Ron. He insisted on touching me and showing me how to handle the racket, even though I had been playing tennis for 4 years then. So I knew how to properly swing, and he knew that. He was also quite forceful, and I just remember being very uncomfortable. Luckily, more people came into my section as the year went on, and I was no longer alone with Ron. I eventually graduated middle school and went to high school on a different campus and never met Ron again. I didn't really realize what he meant when he asked what else had grown until about a few months ago when I thought about it again. It also turns out that only a few months into the next school year, after I graduated, they fired the coach for unknown reasons, but some parents were told that he was fired for turning out to be a pedophile. A friend of mine actually saw Ron a few weeks ago when he went into a taxi and he was the driver. Ron immediately recognized my friend, and my friend just got out of the taxi and left. So Ron, let's not meet again. Hey guys, well, I won't be sleeping or checking my closet anytime soon, but in all seriousness guys, if you like this video and if you've made it this far, please click a like button and subscribe for more content. I'm always doing these little scary stories for you guys, and if you guys have any suggestions, any like real scary stories that you guys have experienced in your lifetime, I'll leave my email down below for you guys in the description, so that way you guys could email me some of your stories and whatnot, and I'll make a video one day about it, guys. So I'm always interested in all that kind of stuff, and yeah, just seriously, thank you everybody for watching, and just remember, the best ideas always come out of nightmares.